creep, bro.
Public transportation is the double-edged sword of getting around. It's accessible and also affordable. But even though the fare is cheap, that doesn't mean you don't pay a heavy price for using it. This is a service where, much like cable TV and prostitution, you don't just pay with money. It costs a bit of your sanity if you regularly use the bus or train. Especially at night, that's when people decide, oh boy, time for crime. Buses can be nice because most of the drivers are. A lot of them even let you get on if you lose your transit card. That's why you always have to say thank you to them. It's a federal crime if you don't. It's also nice when you see bus drivers honk as they pass each other by. It's their equivalent of two guys seeing each other and doing that instinctual nod thing. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff can get in the way of these nice moments. Buses, like all the other multi-ton killing machines we let loose on the road, are at the mercy of traffic, causing really long wait times to even get on the bus. And just like me, they could also break down. And then you'll have to wait for another bus. A phenomena that I don't understand is when multiple buses arrive at the same time. It's one thing to be stuck across a busy street helplessly looking at your bus leave. It's another thing entirely to see three of them leave you behind.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just
My worst ever bus experience is when I took a bus downtown. Sounds like a normal thing for a bus to do, right? The only issue is that I wasn't trying to go downtown. I was actually wanting to go away from it. I was trying to go north. I get on a bus I don't usually take, but Google Maps says it's fine, and it'll get me where I need to go. And I trust it because I'm dumb or something. I'm on my phone and not paying attention. Just a standard bus, right? I look up and see what road I'm on. Aside from being a great song, Lakeshore Drive is the Chicago expressway that leads right to downtown. I look around and see that I'm the only one on the bus, and that's when I realized what happened. I like to tuck myself away in the back corners of a bus, and it was one of those weird Caterpillar buses, so my guess is that the driver didn't see me, and it was close to the end of their shift, so they thought they could just return the bus back to where it lives. So after quickly going through each stage of grief, I pull the string thing to let them know that they have made a grave mistake and I need to get off. Nothing else I could do at that point, so I just sit there and let the universe get another sucker punch in. 20 minutes later, I get off at downtown and I rush to the train, which is both late and packed. That was definitely the second worst way I've ever had an hour and a half of my day wasted. A big benefit that comes with trains is that they're fast. That's about it. There's no traffic, but other things can delay them. Like if a train has to stop because someone's being too weird. One delay affects every single other train. Time works differently waiting for a train enough as it is, so that just makes it all worse. If the train tracker says less than 1 minute away, that actually means 30 plus minutes. It says 6 minutes away, and you think you have time to grab a quick snack, but as soon as you enter the store, you hear the train come and go. And you wait for the next one that's supposedly 6 minutes away, but the tracker is outdated and completely forgot to multiply that by 4 to get the correct arrival time. When a train is delayed like that, it piles up the amount of people in a single train car. And all of those people are touching stuff everywhere, even places they shouldn't be. I'm not even talking about the train here, just in their normal lives. Then they get on the train and lay their hands all over. Then you touch what they touch and you become a beta tester for a whole new pandemic. I'll take the perpetual fear of derailment over thinking about that any day. In nature, animals tend to travel in packs for safety. On trains, that is absolutely one of the worst things that could happen, and it happens every single day during rush hours. I trade a slightly higher chance of getting stabbed for just getting a seat. If it's busy and all the trains are packed except for one that's completely empty, do not go in there. That is an active crime scene. You're lucky enough to see that no one else wants to go in. Imagine the first person that discovered what's inside there. My worst train experience is when I picked up a boxed Reaper statue from a friend downtown. The box itself is a decent size, so I have to carry it with both hands. I wait for the train, and 18.3 minutes pass by until it arrives. It's absolutely packed. I walk up to the platform to find a train car where I could actually fit. I try to get on one, but there was absolutely no way. I'm in the middle of a problem that usually only affects the well-endowed. I could only get halfway in. Even if I didn't have that box, I would only barely be able to fit if I was okay with my face pressed up against the glass. It's no use. I get off and just let it pass. 25 minutes of waiting for the next one. And once again, like a My Little Pony mason jar, it's filled to the brim. I mentally prepare myself and try to find an opening. I find one that could barely fit me, and what I can only describe as a reverse berth, I squeeze through. I'm in, with barely a millimeter to spare. The train starts to move and I immediately realize my troubles aren't over. I can't hold on to anything to stay balanced. Both of my hands are gripping the box, and it's way too packed to put it on the floor. Also, train floors are ew. I try my best not to fall over, as that might result in a domino effect, because the concept of personal space has been absolutely annihilated and thrown out the weird train window. Meanwhile, the automated speaker guy is saying to practice social distancing in the midst of a pandemic. I hunkered down and would do something I swore I would never do. Focus on feet. I bent my legs and angled my feet in a way that'll let me stay as balanced as possible. I'm trying my best to focus my chakra and not fall over or bump into anyone. It's easy going at first since the train is hitting a bunch of quick stops at once, but I realize that the next stop is a lot further away. The train is moving a lot faster and is taking more turns. The conductor in the front is just having a normal day, but I'm over here fighting for my f***ing life. Then it happens. I'm sent an angel. Someone notices me struggling and gets up to let me sit. I thank them and offer them my firstborn and take a seat. The rest of the ride feels like a dream because I'm so tired at that point that all I could do is stare off into space. And the big takeaway from all that is that years later, Overwatch is still ruining my life. Expect to encounter a wide range of people from every single corner of society. They're not always the best. There are low-class offenders, such as people taking up extra seats, like when they sit on the edge, blocking a free window seat next to them, or when they're blocking an empty seat with their bags, or with their body, or with other people's bodies. There are people who grew up with a different idea of what an inside voice is. There are people sharing their side of their cellular discussion with everyone. There are people who are listening to their music and shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a microphone. And then there are the homegrown preachers that are either spreading the good word at an uncomfortable decibel level, or telling me I'm going to hell for wearing a devil-worshipping t-shirt. Like, come on, that's not the reason I'm going to hell. Trains are also just moving weirdo conventions. There are less of them on buses because the driver is right there and can do something about it, but that also means... On trains, the driver is all the way at the front, so if you want to bring something to their attention, there's a button there to do that. However, you don't want to press the button to speak with them because you typically fail at public speaking, but also because then everyone's gonna know you're a snitch. One of my least favorite types of people are self-appointed DJs that play their music a little bit too loud and proud. These are people that have never been notified of the invention of earbuds, but are able to own speakers and are technologically savvy enough to turn the speaker dial all the way up. It's always bad music too. It'd be one thing if they were blasting some Gorillaz or Queen or Chip Skylark, but it's never any of that. Why do they do this? It can't just be a severe lack of self-awareness, right? There has to be a reason. Then there's people who want to give the world lung cancer, one enclosed space at a time. And crackheads are a whole entire other thing. It can be scary sometimes. Statistically speaking, the train car you're in has been a crime scene before. So, pay no mind to the person having an argument with a ghost, and ignore the guy making vague mumbling threats to everyone. Just don't have your phone out if you're by the doors, cause then what are you gonna do if your phone gets stolen? Call 911? With what? A good way to test your fight or flight instincts is to see how you react when someone walks through the side doors. It could just be someone trying to get away from a weirdo, or a weirdo themselves. You never know. Well, except for if you have a functioning nose. But the really scary thing here, if you ask me, is that the war on drugs was designed to fail. Don't worry, I'll take care of that when I go to hell and find Nixon myself. The truest reflections of humanity can be seen when you're working in retail and when you're on the train. I once saw somebody taking a sleeping homeless person's half-full McDonald's cup and then drink out of it for the rest of their commute. There's nothing more morale-crushing to your day than the realization that you walked into the wrong train car. It's kind of funny though, watching other people walk in and come to that realization too. In the US, people tend to spend an average of 1.75 hours a day on public transportation. Multiply that by 5 for a week, and then 4 for the month, and then 12 for a year, and then 69 for the years, and that's a lot of math. That's a lot of time to be doing nothing, so don't do nothing, do something. Look around and imagine what you do if someone suddenly tried to rob everyone. Look out the window and pretend you're in a sad music video, or be a normal person and use your phone. Watch a show or watch the world slowly crumble. Play a game without headphones at max volume. Have every single sound effect be like a nail struck to everyone else's heads. And if you want to stand out and let everyone know you're better than them, bring a good book to read. Whatever you do, just don't sleep. It's dangerous. You can miss your stop or awkwardly lay your head on a stranger's shoulder and end up in a bad rom-com. Or even worse, some hecking rando could take your pristine, very clean, very shiny McDonald's cup all for themselves. Japanese bullet trains are always on time, and when they're just a few seconds late, the conductor goes around and personally apologizes to everyone. They're also really clean. Yeah, I think about that a lot when I'm late to work because someone decided to donate every single one of their bodily fluids on the train floor.